Well, welcome everybody that's on Zoom. When we talk about helping headaches, there are definitely different types of headaches. Hopefully kind of go into a little bit of where the mechanics and the physiology of getting the headaches. How does chiropractic help with those things? What are some of the other things you can do to try to help headaches if you're getting adjusted and you're looking for other solutions? They're not normal, first off, but they are very common. Headaches are just not a normal thing to have, but they are very common. Your body is, again, like I said, very smart, and it is trying to whisper things to us, and all we do is continue to quiet it. Your headaches aren't a deficiency of aspirin or Tylenol. They're due to your body telling you that there's stress on your neurological system. There are primary and secondary types of headaches. There are even headaches that can come from your jaw. Very common. Most people who have postural issues come into our office tilted or twisted or distorted. Typically their TMJ is also twisted and distorted. And that has a very close connection to the muscles in the back of the neck, as well as just the tension that can build up in your tempors. So these disorders can happen there. The headache condition being primary to the brain, in that area, isn't really as common as probably the secondary issues that cause it. Things that are secondary, that are the issue that are causing the head to hurt. So we'll kind of go into there. Again, there's like 14 different types. There's a million ways to diagnose them. Key is, your body is not happy, and it's trying to tell you to pay attention. These are some of the common headaches. The most common one, tension headaches. Those are going to be your muscular or stress-related headaches typically. So even when we have a lot of tension that builds up, that tension headaches can be due to poor posture, but more likely they're due to what we call cervicogenic headaches. And this means they originate from the neck. So people that are going to have probably the quickest response to our adjustments are because the neck and the muscles and nerves in the neck are causing the headache. That's the primary cause. There's a lot of people who have distorted head positions, have to look at screens and down. And this is why a number of headaches can start from the neck. And because in irritated nerves, there's nerves that come right out the back of the head here. Those can cause a lot of challenges, but those are definitely kind of combined between tension and cervicogenic. People with cervicogenic headaches typically have positions that can make the headache worse depending on their head's position. They sometimes might even feel more of this question mark pattern behind their ears. That can also stem from some muscles tension in the shoulders, which typically is because the shoulders are trying to help pull the head backwards. Migraines are more of a neurological phenomenon. I can't tell you the amount of people who come in the office with migraines, and they really have more cervicogenic headaches. They just call them migraines. I think at a certain point, to be able to look at it and diagnose it with a test isn't that easy. Doctors might say, well, you have migraine. You might have a combination of all these things. And so your neck could be causing some of those things. You could have neurological irritations on these things. You could have allergies or sinus headaches. Usually those are going to be more intense above and below here, sometimes behind the eyes. The hormone headaches. What I've seen with those more than anything, I feel as most people will wake up with a headache, with hormone headaches. I've seen that more than not. So if you're you go to bed, you're fine, all of a sudden you wake up with it, that might be because of hormonal disruption. There's obviously cyclical hormone headaches. So if it's during a certain cycle or menstruation in the month, you'll know that's pretty common. It's like, oh, it's always this time of the month I get those headaches. That's going to be due to hormones. You got caffeine withdrawal headaches. Not only could you have caffeine withdrawal, you could have sugar withdrawal headaches. You could have not eating your normal diet headaches. Whatever you put in your body daily, if there's any kind of either sensitivity that you're eating, you might not know it, but maybe you're sensitive to something you're eating, and or that food itself, it kind of stimulates a little bit of an endorphin release because it's probably not that healthy for you. If your body has a response to it that's actually kind of like you would think negative, but it almost gives your brain a little bit of a high, if your brain gets used to that high, it's your body trying to help go, ooh, that wasn't good. Here's some endorphins to get you by. So you get like a rush, like, ooh, man, I feel great after eating that. But it's mainly because your body's trying to keep you from dying because of what you just ate. So now you're in this bitter cycle. These kind of withdrawal headaches are all that. It's all the same thing. What are some of those habits that hurt? Well, there's definitely one, I see one of the most common causes is probably hydration, but I would say that most people don't even realize when they're dehydrated. But posture and screen time is going to be your tech neck stuff. We talked about posture is one of the big ones here. Sleep position could definitely be part of that. If you do end up on your stomach a lot, you have to rotate your head. There's just no way around it unless you have some new bed that I don't know about that your face can go like mine. Unless you have a massage bed. I had a guy who bought a massage table just because he loved laying face down to sleep. The sleep position definitely going to be packed. Now, when your body's at sleep, it's not like you can typically tell it what to do. So if you end up on your stomach, there's reasons the body is doing whatever it does at night. It's trying to unwind and take tension away. It is trying to heal. But depending on, again, the 3 T's, the traumas, toxins, and thoughts, and the stresses that you're under, your body is going to do whatever it can do with what it's got. It's always going to try to help you survive. Always survive. It's not going to try to help you attain the highest level of wellness or zen or anything. It's going to just help you get to the next moment. And so if it knows it's detox time, it's sleep time, how do we get the most stress out of the body? Wind it up and twist it up. It doesn't mean it might help your neck. but it might help something to work better. That's what subluxations are really your body's kind of natural response to too much stress. When you get overwhelmed, it kind of just goes, we trip the breaker. Because what that does is it sort of allows then the body to keep functioning on some other level or compensate on the next level while we just let this one sit aside for the moment because we've overwhelmed that circuit. That circuit's overwhelmed, we'll shut it down, right? We don't want to keep frying it. That's your body's natural response, which means that if you don't start to do something to reset those, now your body starts running on different programs, and those can be dysfunctional and aren't as efficient as the ones, it's like you get little viruses in the program, right? So that's part of this. Inflammatory foods, this is really just, alcohol, refined sugars, processed foods, a lot of headache triggers in there. So, and the tricky thing is getting off those will be headache triggers. You're like, well, I'm just gonna have headaches anyway. I'm just gonna eat the bad stuff. Give it like 4 days. It's tough, but you'd be surprised at how much more energy you would have from taking away even caffeine and different things when you think that's the only way you'd survive. But it definitely does not feel good at first. There are definitely supplements and things you could probably tone down some of that stuff, but it's still, when your body's uncomfortable, it is healing. It is growing when it's uncomfortable, when you're doing things like that, but it's hard. To come back to the chiropractic, your nervous system does control everything. Breathing, thinking, hormone production, digestion, it's going to control so much of this. So when your vertebrae are out of alignment, especially in the upper neck, in your upper neck up here, where you have these two vertebrae right there that are kind of from the side, they have a lot of muscles that come up into the neck here. There's a triangle of them. All those little muscles can give you problems. So when we adjust those muscles can chill out. That's also where nerves come out that kind of go up to the head, the occipital nerves. So when we're adjusting especially the upper neck, those can have some of the biggest response if they're cervicogenic or nerve stress, even if it's not the only thing. So part of the things to understand with the headaches and about any problem we've ever talked about here, there's usually not just one bone that needs putting back in place or one thing to do. It's a combination of so many areas of your life that are getting overwhelmed. If we can take a little stress off of a number of areas, and one of them probably is your neck a lot of times for most people, then you have a little more tolerance to your hormones or the nutrition that you're eating or the stress at work, right? And so the more of those things you can knock off, the more tolerance you get to these things, okay? It's not as simple as we'd like it to be. Let's get into the TMJ there. The TMJ is going to be on that x-ray. Kind of see it goes right up on in here, but there are so many connections and muscles that pull in that area, and the dura, which surrounds your brain, is like covering called the dura. And that dura, it locks itself into your skull, and all those little sutures where you kind of used to, if you ever felt a baby's soft spots, all those sutures are where that dura kind of sinks in and holds on. Your TMJ, when it's out of position, it kind of torques all those sutures. This is why we've done cranial work, if you ever had me do this, but I work on your skull, because we want all those sutures to get a little bit more mobile and loosen that dura. If that dura is tight and pulling, it's a lot of headache stuff. But your jaw can cause a lot of that too, and pulling and tension. So releasing that jaw, if you've got headaches, and I have never done this before, have me work on your TMJ with a glove, and you might see a difference with some of that. A lot of times I find that it's usually not permanent, that TMJ adjustments. There's just, it's a lot going on. We have dentist friends who can try to reset all that for you, but it can be helpful. But just know that that's the anatomy of pain from the stuff that chiropractic is going to help the most. It's going to be upper cervical neck and then your TMJ. They've definitely been, chiropractic care, if we get into, can it help? Absolutely. Tension type headaches, cervicogenic headaches, like I was saying, those are going to reduce the frequency and severity of those when people are getting adjusted. Almost everyone has probably some type of that. Even if they have other headaches, they have some connection to those things as well. It just depends on how much that's going to benefit them when we get the adjustments. But that's what the assessment is for, obviously. The TMJ, big thing to help to reduce, and stress and inflammation. If we can reduce some of those things, those triggers are more manageable. So you have this holistic kind of treatment realm that typically can help a lot of those other things. So obviously the adjustments, one of the probably safest, simplest, and effective ways to help a lot of issues is to get adjusted. It's not the solution for everything in the world. It may not be a permanent solution for a lot of things, but there are so many ailments that we have, and we start going down paths that can cause much more stress, money, and tension on our bodies, that if we just get adjusted, it could help a lot of things. So always start with the adjustments, get that assessment first. The second would be the lifestyle nutrition support. Obviously getting the water that you should have, and we'll get into some others, and then just some other at-home exercises and support for your neck. Adjustments, the goal of those is to improve the joint mobility, reduce the nerve interference. When we have targeted care of that upper neck there, the jaw relief, your headache triggers are going to reduced down. Typically, it's going to, you're going to have a little bit more visits in the beginning to try to help with the acute flare-ups, because your body has a tendency to go back out to its old positions about every 24 to 48 hours. So if your body has a tendency to go back to its old positions, we need to kind of retrain it. And that's why people have to come a couple times a week for at least a month or two to just retrain those things. And that's if you never went back to your old habits, but we do. So it's a process. The anti-inflammatory diet, we have a new sheet we've just created. I'm pretty excited. We'll have it here, but it's a kind of a gentle anti-inflammatory recommendation, and then a workshop, links to all the workshops we've done about that. So you guys can go, oh, here's the Eat Well, template or outline. And we have it now with the QR code, so you can go and watch them and read those. So that's going to talk about that. Mindfulness tools, the less stress our brain's under, the less inflammation we're under, the less tension that we're holding in just our muscles. Your muscles are just an end organ. If you're tense and stressed, or your muscles tensed and stressed. So there's no surprise when you need adjusted. And that tension, if that keeps bringing it up, well, that's how we're going to work with that. A lot of our Think Well, we'll have a Think Well sheet eventually, but that's with the breath work, stress management, the brain tap, all that stuff. The Shape Reclaimed is a program that we use. It's an anti-inflammatory detoxification, and we use that with a lot of patients, migraines especially. One of the simplest nutrients, just so you know, with migraines or just headaches, is magnesium. Most people are deficient in magnesium, so if you have not been taking that, that'd definitely be a simple, good start for most people. At home, stretch your neck. Try to work the tension out. Before bed, one of the best times to stretch is before bed. You actually help your body get centered on itself and realize that it's not under complete attack right that moment, because you've stretched it, you've slowed it down, and it's like, oh, I guess I don't have to just grip for the rest of the day. It's over. I can stretch and relax. So stretching your neck and muscles on our YouTube channel right now, probably one of the top hits you'll see. We just created this. There's little exercises of stretches for your whole body, and it's broken into different parts. So the neck ones are great. I show you how to use a strap and really stretch it extra. That's on our YouTube channel. Hydrated and magnesium, there it is, and that'd probably be in there. Improve sleep, obviously posture. If you can make sure you have a pillow that will keep you in a better place, that would be recommended. Like I said, it is hard to do that, but try to start on your back or your side. Pillow between the knees, that's always the best sleeping position. So we're gonna do this little stretch. First thing, before you do any stretch, you always wanna get your butt all the way back to the back of the seat. I wanna make sure that everyone's real tall. Now you can lower those seats if you wanna make sure that you're high enough. But you're gonna get in the back of the seat so your buttocks there, your shoulders are over your hips, and your shoulder and head are right in alignment. So when you're in good posture, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take and just gently, with good posture, not flexing, you're gonna just tilt your right ear, your right shoulder. Just try to touch there. Keeping that head upright. Yeah, don't let the head come forward. Keep it straight. That's good. Now, if you like, you can take a hand and put it on top of your head, and then this is your right hand, with your left hand, grab the seat with your left hand. And I want you to just lean to the right a little bit, just gently lean, and now pull with your right hand. You guys feel that stretch? And you really, with a stretch, you just want to hold that for about 15 seconds is good. You could do 30. If you want to breathe and hold it for a second, let that slowly out, that's great. Let's try the other side, because I need it. So you can grip with your right hand on the chair. Remember, tall, stay tall. Tilt that ear straight over, and then just pull. And just breathe. I like to say 3 deep, kind of slow belly breaths is about 15, 30 seconds. So you might not even count, just do 3 breaths. Good. We're gonna do just one more stretch. There's some others that you can watch on YouTube. And this one is where we're gonna imagine there's a clock above you, all right? And so, 12 o'clock is right here. You're gonna turn your head to 10 o'clock, and then you're gonna try to tuck your chin, almost try to tuck again, you're trying to stay tall, trying to tuck your chin so you're trying to hit it on your Adam's apple. You're trying to touch your chin to your Adam's apple, but at the same time, you're kind of pulling your head downward without flexing, without rounding. So you're gonna be real tall here, and just pull that. You guys feel that? You can still anchor your right arm if you wanted, and pull. It's good. If you turn your chin just a little bit in different directions, you'll feel a little different stretch. And you might feel more, hopefully you feel some kind of in the very back of your neck, like the occiput at the very base of your skull. Feel okay? So if you're at 10, then you're gonna go to 2. Just like driving, 10 and 2. So turn your head to 2. Again, try to tuck your chin to your Adam's apple. So you're pulling forward there, but you're staying tall, and then just stretch that down. These are the most common muscles that are going to be due to poor posture that get tight. Muscles on the side are the most common muscles that you might use when you're breathing shallow. That's what we did first. Good. So those are the most basic 4 stretches you could do. There's some backwards, which I'd go watch the video on those, but it's good. Those are really good stretches. Those themselves might do a lot of work. I would say if you got a headache coming on, I'd put ice on the back of your neck for like 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes that can just help to calm the blood flow down, because sometimes they found that it's increased amount of blood flow, kind of shocks the system. There's a lot of reasons that we've theorized what's going on and which causes the pain. Even that's somewhat not sure, but we know it's a neurological dysfunction. But the more stresses we take away, the better you will be. We'll say goodnight at this point. There are no more questions. Right on time. Just remember, your body wants to work for you, but we got to give it a chance. Okay? Have a good night.